I'm about to take the oil pan or the sump off this 300 TDI from the Spanish 110, but looking at it here, this has been off before. It's got blue silicone on it. It's got blue silicone round the front as well. What are we going to find? I've seen that silicone everywhere. So has it had some serious engine work in the past? I don't know. There's not really much. A lot of people, when they do Land Rovers, think that the sump always leaks, and it isn't really. It's the rear crank seal that leaks. If you put the sump on properly with the proper RTV, they're a bugger to get off. They're almost like welded on. So no, they're not really a problem. So why take the sump off? Let's find out. Boy, were they tight! I have never ever seen sump bolts held on so tight. They must have put them on with one of these little 8mm bolts. They were so hard, they were so difficult to get off. I couldn't even get them off with this, you know, this little tool here for taking off with the left-hand thread. I ended up chiseling about 5 of them with a chisel like here, and trying to knock the torque, release the torque. What a bitch of a job. So they have been out before. You can probably see the silicone, that blue snotty silicone everywhere. So let's have a look at and see what's in the sump. Can we get the sump off? Using the dismantling tool that's available in the shops. In my shop. I can't see shops. Oh, that's not a good one. I've got a notch in that one. Yeah, see that one. I was using it on hardened steel. Not good. Again, this is what this was made for. No? There we go. We're in. Hey. We're in. See how easy that was? No damage. Blue silicone. Fortunately, nothing in the bottom. No bits. Now, why did they take the sump off? Let's just have a little look at this crank. This is most unusual. Like, I'm just wondering if somebody's put another crank in this. Or something doesn't make any sense. Look how clean the webs are here, but look how dirty the oil caps are here. That's strange, isn't it? Can I turn that around? 4, I can't see that one. 1, that's alright. Have I got a key to turn that on? Probably not. It's back in the tin. Right, let's turn this crank over. You can see how clean the rods are. Yeah, how come the bearing cap? Look at that, how clean it is. I'm just wondering if it's had a new crank in it. The numbers are correct too. That's alright. And there's no debris in the filter. I wonder what we're going to find in here. And it's a British Leyland crank as well. It's not a. It's not an aftermarket one. It's a British Leyland one. So has it been ground or what? Because after 300,000 kilometres, you'd expect that these bits here would be the same as these bits here. What a mystery. Let's get this off. Yeah, let's get this off. Let's take the end seal off and the front cover, and then we'll see about this crank. Right, what else have we found? Well, obviously this pipe's been off before because you can see where they've put blue silicone on it. So the plot thickens. I've got the bolts out of the front cover, I'm going to take it off real time so you can have a look. By the way, you have to take that pipe off. You have to take the sump off and the oil pickup pipe in order to get this off. You can't just take the front cover off. It's got to clear the dowels. There we go. It's very black inside, but will it clean up nice? And the thing that we want to look at is the end of the crank. You know, like where the oil pump goes. That's really, really good. But this is so black and filthy. Yeah, sometimes you get these cranks on very high mile engines. Did I have my back to you? Sorry. Sometimes you get these cranks on very high mile engines that wear flats here and the opposite side where they drive the oil pump. This one's perfect. Well, as good as perfect. So the next thing, which is a bit boring, I'm going to take out all the lifters and the camshaft, put them into individual bags, then we'll clear the bench and get the crankshaft out. In the meantime, I'm going to put this through the parts washer rather than using that biodegradable stuff because it's a small part, and it should come out nice. Take the oil pump apart naturally, but boy, it's filthy. So I took the cam out. That was good. Everything was nice and clean. All the rollers and the tappets were perfect. And what I've done is I've marked up the pistons with the corresponding number of the cylinder. This is to say that if we take the pistons off and get them mixed up, at least now they're stamped, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, so they'll go back on. So the next thing, whip it upside down and take the pistons out. Well, I got the rods out, and look at these journals here. These are absolutely spotless. There's not a mark on them, and look, if we spin the crank, look how free it is. Bloody hell, that's good, isn't it? Look at that. It's like an electric car. Well, not really. The rods, we'll have a look at everything once I get this crank out on the bench, but I just wanted to show you that straight away, how it moved in the block. That's how it should be. Lovely, isn't it? Could do this all day. Perhaps I will. Well, 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 did we straight lucky here. These journals are absolutely perfect. They are beautiful. Wonderful. They are absolutely superb. You can't even feel a scratch on them. Absolutely over the moon. They are stock standard. Everything's standard on this block, so it's unusual for like 300,000 kilometres. There wasn't really much wrong with it apart from a wash and a brush up. Excellent. I'm going to be putting new shells in here. I'm not going to take a chance with the old ones, but we'll put everything on the bench and we'll have a look. So I got the crank out, and unusually it's got wear on the top shell. Usually it's always on the bottom of the shell because of the thrust going this way, if you see what I mean. I wonder if that's been something to do with the belt being over tightened. Not sure, but look at these bearings here. I'm going to put new ones in, like I said, I'm going to put OEM ones in. Get off. Will that focus? I don't know if it's going to focus or not. Should do. ERC 8839. Beautiful. Really, really nice. So, that block, I've got to take the jets out, but am I? I think I'm going to leave the jets in until we power wash. You know, the squirty jets. I'm going to leave an awful lot of stuff in here because obviously I'm going to sandblast the outside of the block and also the water jacket. But I'm very, very, very pleased with it so far. Very pleased. I'm over the moon. We're going to check the cylinders, but I tell you something. They're lovely. They're really, really lovely. And the pistons all came out nice. Let's have a look on the bench. This is typical of a piston coming out. This wear stuff here is just to say gone through. We can use those pistons again quite easy. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously there's wear in the top of the rod shell here. That's not a problem. How unusual, eh? Look how clean they are. This engine's been either very looked after or changed. But everything's stock standard. You know, I think with a set of rings in, a set of rings and a bit of a clean-up, she'll go back together again. Yeah. Oh, I'm really encouraged by that. Something's going right. Watch there'll be a crack in the block somewhere. I've started to take the core plugs out of this engine. Good thing too. Let's take this end one out. Just tip them round and tap them like that. See? No antifreeze, no anti-corrosion, nothing. They were all the same. The ironic thing is, if you have iron zoom here, no. If you look at the outside, they look great. So what we're going to do is, the block actually isn't too bad. There's a hell of a lot of rubbish in there which needs to come out. It's not so bad. It's not bad as that 2.25 petrol that was all rusty. It's not as bad as that. I'm going to take this core plug out the front, one out the back, and then I think what we'll do tomorrow, weather permitting, we'll try and get this outside. Not looking forward to that. And steam clean it off and see what this block's like. And then maybe just get the sandblaster and go around all these inside the block and see how much we can get out. Because I remember when we sandblasted the block off the 2.5, it was really, really rusty, but when it was finished it was beautiful. So I want to stay clear of touching all the rest of the block with the sandblaster. The outside looks good. I think we'll be able to just steam clean the outside and it'll come up like a charm, hopefully.